So I saw this news on the internet. It says that a court in US has ordered FBI, DEA to release Tinubu drug fight case to the public. But be that as it may, that does not stop me from saying that these developed countries are the actual problem that Africa as a continent is having, starting from the US, the British, and the French countries. They are the problem that Africa as a continent is having. They are the ones stopping Africans from moving forward because they have turned our leaders into their puppet that they can use them at their own will. That's why they will not help African continent to develop their own continent. Do you know why? What does it take for these developed countries to place sanctions on Nigerian politicians so that let me use Nigeria for an example. That any politician in Nigeria that is coming to that country for vacation, for realization, or for treatment, they are not going to give them visa. They are going to send them back to their country. You see, if they begin to do this for these African countries, by now, Africans that have been developed, therefore don't go feed their own country. But guess what? They will not, because actually Africans are the ones feeding these developed countries. Now, it will interest you to know that the day that African leaders will wake up and know how to utilize our resources and know how to make use of the resources that we have in Africa, you will see that these developed countries actually have nothing. Africa will be enough to even feed the whole world in terms of finance, in terms of resources, and in terms of technology, because they will now be venturing to do business with Africans. But not until now, they are still using our leaders as puppets. Can you imagine? And when we say that slave trade is over, I was telling person that the other day that slave trade is still going on in Africa, but in a new way. Now let me explain. Unlike before, when they say those people now will come Africa, they will buy somebody they will pay money, carry person, go their own country. Now wetin the person wan go do? The person go either clean their house, take care of their old ones, drive truck for their factory, take their children to school, wash their plate, clean their restaurants. This was what our forefathers did. Now in this modern day Nigeria, I'm using Nigeria for an example, what do Africans go to these developed countries to do? To wash plate, to take care of their old ones, to drive, to clean their restaurants, and do all sorts of things. But the difference is just that this developed country has made African currencies to be useless in respect to their own, so that when people travel for greener pasture, leave Africa and go to their own country and do this type of job that our forefathers did, they will not pay them. Then their own currency is not greater than our own currency. That when they bring that currency here to spend, they become big men. This is the difference. That's why they don't want to see Africa grow. That is any leaders in Africa that they see that this people is going to be a problem to them. The unfortunate part is that they are going to use the citizens of that country to fight against their leaders, not knowing that because of the greedy nature of Africans, they are going to buy into their ideas, not knowing that they are destroying their countries. This is what happened to Gaddafi. Till now, that country has not known peace. So our Nigerian leaders, they are puppets to these our developed countries. That's why you see all this problem that is happening, because I know that there are some sanctions that could be placed that could enable our leaders to sit back and do the right thing. Now, coming on the part of this US now, when they say now they say they want to release this drug fair. Why in the first place would they even prevent it from not coming out to the public? Although I know that even if they release it or they do not release it, it's not going to change anything, because politicians always have a way to manipulate their self into offices. Because if you ask me, why will this developed country not even help Africa in rebuilding their own continent? Because they know that without Africans, there is no developed countries. Because the only way that they rebuild their own countries is to use the resources taken from this African continent and go and develop their land. That's why you see people stealing government funds in Nigeria, going to their places in Chicago or in Florida, all part of the developed countries, to buy an asset in which they are not even using. Then they know that tomorrow a time will come that they are going to seize those assets from Nigerians. It automatically becomes their own. So they always allow Nigerians to steal money from their own, Nigerian leaders to steal money from their own country and go and develop there. This is just the strategy of them. Because to me, I so much dislike these developed countries, because they are the cause of the problem that we are having in Africa. Not until we begin to ask the right questions. Because the right question should be, I know say some of us don't support Tinubu, but if those that supported Tinubu that they know that this man is not doing well in the office, they begin to call him out. You see that this country now for don move forward. But guess what? They will not call him out because they are tribal bigotry. Because it come from their place, so they can't call him out. So not until we begin to call our politicians out, you see that this country will never move forward.